Thanks, Cathal. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience this morning and indeed over the last couple of days. A significant day for the FAI. Very, very serious scrutiny and analysis is being done into the financial situation of the FAI, and we will be taking you through that today with the publication of our approved financial statements. I see our progress, or look at our progress, if you like, in terms of chapters. The challenges that erupted in March of 2019, and then our work since then to steady the ship, to improve the organisation. As I've said to you before, the first serious output was the Governance Review Group report. I'd like to just focus again on the fact that our members, by 116 votes to 2, accepted the Governance Review report. That would be a first significant chapter or milestone. Our members continue with that level of support to and through an AGM, passing the relevant constitution and rule changes. I myself was elected president at that AGM in July the 27th, or on July the 27th. And likewise, as I'm describing it to you now, I've also seen the ongoing history, in a sense, since then in terms of chapters. We have the Mazars investigation, as you're aware, the ODCE investigation, and we had the COSI forensic audit. So we looked at the arrival and publication of reports as significant events, significant stages on the journey. COSI now, as we know, is in quarantine. A very, very important part of the reform, and reform is the appropriate word, of the reform agenda, was to bring 4 independent directors to our board. We're very close to the installation of those 4 independent directors. It's something the board, and myself in particular, have invested huge time in the recent past. Can I just clarify here, please, some of the confusion? We do not know who the 4 independent directors are. The process to source them is done externally and independently. We have a nominations committee with 3 externals and 2 FAI people. We have met with AMROP. We have had the prospective independent directors profiled, but we do not know as yet who they are, and at no stage has the association done anything to hold up the appointment of independent directors. That is something we really wanted to see happen, and to see happen as quickly as possible. In the same vein, we wanted the arrival of COSI and the publication of the COSI report. That was not to be the case. We have key stakeholders. Perhaps the most important is our own staff. And Paul and I would have sat down with those staff earlier this week. And we will indeed engage further with those staff today. In terms of today and the financials, 2 other key stakeholders are our bank and our parent body, UEFA. And the support and the ongoing engagement with those. I have worked, as has Paul, for many, many months now, since last April, with UEFA. And myself, Paul, Alex, and a range of people have worked across the financial situation. We are within weeks of installing independent directors. We will reconvene our AGM. We will present our accounts to our members. I will address our members as to my decision in relation to my own position. The members backed me last July. I have felt I've had a contract with those members. I have felt I've enjoyed the confidence of those members. And I was happy to stay in this role as we reach some of the key milestones that I've referenced. And I think we are, with the arrival of the independent directors, we are succeeding in achieving a really key milestone. I will address those members on the 29th of December at the reconvened AGM. I will tell them that we will be setting an EGM for the 25th of January, at which there will be the election of a new president, and I will step away from my role at that stage. We may talk about some of these broader issues later on, but obviously a really large part of the focus today is on the financials. And I'm going to ask Paul to address this, to deal with that presentation in a moment. Before that, I would like to point out to you that we have a new board since the 27th of July, all of whose members are here, with the exception of John Finnegan, who is unable to be here because of work commitments today. This board has met at least once a week since they've taken up their role. They have worked tirelessly to steady the ship that is the FAI and to plot a sensible course for that association going forward. And I want to acknowledge that and thank them for their efforts. Paul, do you want to commence?
Yes, I'm going to sit here. Our colleague, would you prefer I was up there?
Yeah.
I'll come up. Okay. Oh, my person. Should be. Okay. And how do I move it down? Which? Okay, stand there for a bit. Okay, first of all, apologies for postponing this 3 times, is it? The second time, today for 1 o'clock is my fault. I was late. As anyone knows, there's nothing unusual about that. I think the first thing is, you know, people would say, and people could be harsh critic, and someone would query the accounts here for a number of years. Standing here presenting these results actually gives me no pleasure at all. It's a lot of what I would have said, but it's probably worse than what I would have thought. I think this is a key moment, and Donal alluded to that in the association. Hopefully we can draw a line and move on. These results are clear, in my opinion, transparent, and we will take any questions and we will answer any questions that we're permitted to within without breaching confidentiality and commercial sensitivities. Okay, so moving on. Stop, sorry. This one. How do I make it bigger? I'm going to move on to that. I'm going to make it bigger. Go back to the start. Yeah. I want it large. Or do I look at it like that? Yeah. Sorry.
It is on this showing like this. Yeah.
Is that the way it's broke?
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't really know. Okay. But how is that on the screen?
Yeah, it is on the screen now.
Okay. I can't see this, God. Can I make it bigger? But I can't see it. I can't remember what we're on. Okay. But I wonder what everybody's on the same page up there. I can't see it now. If I turn around like that. Okay, I'll turn around like that. Okay, first of all, we've broken these into 3 years. We've had to do 3 years, as we know, from the H1s filed, right? First year is 2016. We had to revise 2016. And if you look at that, we originally reported a profit of 2.344 million. As a result of adjustments, and I'll go through the significant ones of those in a moment, they were 2.3. That meant our revised retained surplus was 66,000 for the year. That's a swing of 2.3 million. We go into the next year, 2017. Again, we declared a profit of 2.8 million. There were adjustments of 5.6, given a loss. We've gone from a profit of 2.8 million to a loss of 2.9. The 2018 figures don't get. Now, how do I move this? The 2018 figures don't get much better, with a loss of 9 million euros. Okay, the next one. How did this happen? First of all, we had contracts which are in the 2018 accounts with the former CEO and director of 2.142 million, which are reflected in these accounts, and I'll talk to those again in a moment. we had the unwinding of a sponsorship contract, which amounted to €1.7 million. As a result of the various investigations and our involvement with them, we've incurred professional fees of €3.6 million. As we mentioned at the last council meeting, we were notified earlier this year of a revenue audit that has resulted in €2.7 million declaration to the revenue. Now, in relation to that, what we did, there's a prompted and unprompted disclosure. When we were notified of the audit, we made a prompted disclosure for 2016 and 2017, and then an unprompted one for 2015 and 2018. These figures have been declared to revenue, but they have not been accepted yet. Bad debt provision, basically, the bad debt provision and tidying up and the accruals is a tidying up of the balance sheet, basically. The next one, directors' emoluments. In 2016, we showed directors' emoluments of 430,000. Under the revised, restated figures, that increases to 1.16 million. In 2017, again, was 430,000 we showed. That increased to nearly, or just under $1 million again. And 2018, it's $1,073,000. Oops, go back. Sorry. Okay. Again, it's in the accounts. It's actually on very early in the accounts, page 4 or 5. It's the severance settlement with former director, so CEO. This arose from 2 contracts that were given to him in 2014. One for 2 million and the other for 1 million. One was a pension type payment kicking in from 2021, and the other was a loyalty bonus which kicked in immediately. This exposed us at the end of 2021 to a potential liability of €3 million. So it had not been this have not been reflected in the previous year's accounts at all. So they've been reflected in all the accounts I've spoken about now for each year. So at the end of 2018, that would have given a liability of 2.142 million. In September, we reached a settlement with the ex-CEO. And as shown in the accounts, this was a total consideration of 462,000, comprised of 3 months' notice pay and a pension contribution of 372,000. The auditors' report. Again, transparency. The auditors have put a disclaimer of opinion in respect of 2 items in the accounts. One is the going concern, and I think it's important that we address this. The standard that the auditors require is they need actual evidence that we have refinancing in place. We are in very advanced stages of refinancing the business, very close, but we don't have sufficient evidence yet for the auditors, hence they've disclaimed opinion on that. The second point is around unrecorded liabilities. As you can appreciate, there are a number of investigations ongoing which could throw up additional liabilities, hence their disclaimer of opinion. There's been some commentary about the balance sheet and our level of debt. First of all, as a technical, and it is a technical adjustment, we've restated our our bank borrowings into current liabilities. There are bank borrowings of 22.22 million. We've put those into current liabilities because we broke a number of banking covenants. So we're in technical breach while we weren't in actual breach. So if you look at that 62 million broken down roughly, just give people some flavour of what's in it. There's the bank loans of nearly 30 million. There's deferred income, which is money we received in advance legitimately now, and we're bringing back amortising the P&L over a period of time. We have POE appearance on VAT of 3.2. That might be different from the earlier figure. The reason is you would obviously have a normal POE liability at the end of the year. The director's bonus is 0.74. That's because that relates to the current portion of it. The pension was in the long-term part, and that's also shown in the accounts, making up the balance of 1.4. We owe trade creditors nearly 8 million, and we've accruals of 9.54. Okay, next steps, and Donal referred to this. The appointment of the independent chair and his or her fellow independent directors. The other one is the bank financing. We have prepared, and it's often misused, a robust, and in this case it's a robust business plan. Not just us in the association. This has been prepared in conjunction with and verified by Grant Thornton. It is currently with the banks. It has been also presented to UEFA, and we expect approval very shortly. Just one other thing I should say on this. I mean, I'm not going to declare what the number of refinancing is because it's confidential at the moment, but we will have to get council approval for any additional borrowing, so it will be declared to council. Also, one other thing that people might query dealing with it now, the stadium will be going on to a 15-year normal mortgage. Finally, we need to restore trust amongst our key stakeholders, as Donal alluded to, staff, who've been, how people have worked through this, I do not know. Our sponsors, UEFA, who've been really, really supportive, the bank obviously, Sport Ireland, and finally the Minister. We need to get the trust of everybody back into us here, and hopefully today starts that.